Hi, I'm Aaron Runk, and today we're going to be doing a setup on a Haas vf1 machine. So first thing I'm going to do is I've powered on the machine from the back. I'm going to release my e-stop button and I'm going to hit my power on. When doing this, it's going to power up the machine and give us the functions to everything on our screen. Once it's powering up, you're also going to see many messages come up on the board. You just have to give it a few moments, and once it comes up, we will get started. Now that my machine has come up, I'm going to reset my alarms. Once my alarms have been reset, I'm going to close my doors, and on a Haas, I'm going to push the button, power up, restart. When I hit this, my machine is going to come up. My table is going to go to the X and Y home locations. And then my tool number 1 is going to be put into my spindle. Once I have done this, I am now ready to begin my setup. The first thing I'm going to do on my setup is I'm going to call up an edge finder, and I'm going to find the bottom left corner of my block. By doing this, I will be able to set my work offsets. So we'll come back to our screen, and to pull up my tool, my edge finder is going to be in pocket number 10. So I will go into MDI, and I will push it one more time, and I'm going to call up tool number 10. So I have tool 10, M6, and I will hit cycle start. Says my door is open. Close my door and I will hit cycle start again. Now that I have my tool call up, I have to turn it on. So in order to turn on my spindle, I'm going to delete the message that I just had, and I'm going to call up S1200 for my RPM, M3 for my clockwise spindle rotation. Notice how I'm putting the end block on there before I hit enter. That way the machine is able to read it correctly. I will push cycle start. My spindle is turning. When I open up my door, you'll notice that my RPMs have gone down. This is a safety feature, but for the feature of this video, I'm actually going to have the doors open so that you can see what's going on. I will come up into my hand jog. You'll notice that I have a screen come on. Some of these screens are going to vary. Some of the older models will not have it. Some of the newer models will not have this style. To get out of my manual mode, I'm going to hit cancel, and I'm going to come over to manual again, and then I will hit enter. Now that I'm able to use my axes, I'm going to put it into the X axis, and I'm going to increase my increments to about 10 thousandths. So that way I'm not going to spend all day getting over there. So like I said, I am coming to the bottom left corner of my part. I am now on the Z axis. Once I get close to my part, I'd say 100 thousandths to a quarter inch, I'm going to come back over to my screen and I'm going to put myself into a lower increment of 1 thousandths. As I start coming towards my part, my edge finder will begin to get smaller and smaller on its run out. Once my edge finder has broke over, I have found the edge of my part. At this point in time, I need to move my Z up out of the way. So I will change to the Z axis. I will increase my increments up, and I will be going in the Z positive direction, which is clockwise, so that I can come up off of my part. Now that I'm up off my part, I need to move in 100 thousandths because the diameter of my edge finder is 200 thousandths. To do this, I will go into my position page. I will push position one more time to go into my operator page, or I can also page down. This will take me into this page where my axes are highlighted. I want to origin out my Y-axis because my Y-axis moves forward and backwards when I'm standing in front of the mill. So I will simply change it into my Y-axis, and I will come over here to the origin button and push origin. From here, I can easily move over 100 thousandths of an inch. Once I'm there, I know that the edge of my part has been found. So to set my work offsets, I will come up to my offsets page and I will push offset again until it shows up. These are some older offsets that were set. We'll clear them out by just hitting F1 to override them. On a Haas, it's very simple whenever you're setting it. I will highlight the Y-axis and I will hit part 0 measure. Doing this is going to tell my machine to input this value into my variable. So now my machine knows that that location of the front of the part is 7 inches, 848 thousandths of an inch from its home location. Now I'm going to do the same thing for X. I'll go back into handle and I will change to my X location. I will move over. I will come down. I am now pretty close to my part, so I'm going to reduce my increments into the thousandths increments, and I will begin coming over in my X axis until I touch the part. My run out will go slower, and then eventually it has broken over to the back. If you want to see the actual part break over, the edge finder break over towards you, you can change your spindle rotation from clockwise to M4, which is counterclockwise. That way when the edge finder breaks over, it will break over towards the front so that it is easier to see. So now that I have found my edge, I need to do the same thing. I need to go to handle. I want to go in the Z axis and I'll speed up a little bit so I can come up off of it. Now that I'm off of it, I want to go back to my position page and let my machine know, for my benefit, that I am at X origin. Where's my origin? Right there. So now I know that the side of my edge finder is aligned with the side of my part, but now I have to come over half the diameter of the edge finder, which is 100 thousandths. So I'm going to be in my X axis again, and I'm going to come over to 100 thousandths. Now that I'm at 100 thousandths, I will come back to my work offsets page. I will highlight the X axis, and then I will hit the part 0 set button again, and it will put my X position into there. As you can see, both of those match. So that is now 11 inches, 466 thousandths from my machine home. Now that my work offsets have been set, I need to load in my program to see what kind of tools that I need to be loading into my machine. To do this, I'm going to hit reset, so it stops my spindle. I'm going to go into edit mode. So in edit mode, I'm going to push F1. I'm going to come over and highlight the input output functions. I will come down to disk directory. Now on these machines, some houses will vary. So if we look down here, I'm going to input my USB into the controller. There is a light underneath it that sometimes will blink or stay on. Once it's on, you have to wait for it to go off so that it knows that the USB is loaded. So if I come back to my screen, I will hit right enter so that I can access the disk's directory. With that being said, I have a CRC mill program. That is the program I'm going to be using. All I have to do is, with that highlighted, all I have to do is hit right enter again, and that will come up. Now that my program is called up, that is my program, my CRC mill part, I can now hit edit one more time. And if you'll notice, my window came from over here to over here, and now I am ready to do this. For this demonstration, I am actually going to be using a 1-inch end mill instead of a 3/4, because that's what I have on hand right here. So before I load this into the machine, I need to check a couple things. The one thing I want to check is I want to check the outside diameter of this end mill to make sure that it is close to 1 inch. And if it is not, how close is it? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to use my micrometers. I'm going to come through and I'm going to find out that I'm pretty close to 1 inch because I'm getting on the furthest outermost points of this end mill. So with that said, I'm going to put my micrometers down and I'm going to load this tool into the, let's see, what pot do we have open? I'm going to load it into tool 12 pot for this example. So I'm going to go into my MDI. I'm going to remove the previous commanded codes. I'm going to type in T12 to call up tool 12. Once it's called up, M6 will complete a tool change. Remember to hit your end block and then press right enter to make sure all of that goes up there. Now I will hit cycle start. After I close my door, my machine will take off. I now have tool 12 loaded into my machine. If I would like to check that, I can hit current commands.